Hello and welcome back to Machine Learning. I'm Jivita Christie, and in this video, we are going to talk about the k-nearest neighbor algorithm for classification in supervised machine learning. So let's begin. We are going to start with an example of this algorithm. So this data right here shows you data about, I believe, about 14 people with their scores in aptitude and communication. And there are two classes that they are divided into. It is speaker and, three classes, speaker, leader, and intel. So you will notice from the data itself that if a person is having a higher communication score than aptitude, then that person is classified as a speaker. Person with a higher aptitude than communication is classified as an intel. A person with a sort of equally high aptitude and communication is classified as a leader. So this is what this data set looks like. And so as we discussed earlier about how the model works, we have to divide our data into training and test. And in this case, we just have about 14 to 15 rows. We are going to divide all of the data into training data. And we're going to introduce this test data for Josh with an aptitude of 5 and an communication score of 4.5. And he belongs to the Intel class. So what we want our model to do is to classify Josh correctly as belonging to the Intel class. And when it does, we can verify it by using the answer already available. Okay, so that's what we want to do. We have three groups, speaker, leader, and Intel. If you plot all this data in an XY graph, you will see that you can take aptitude on x-axis, communication on y-axis, and you'll see that the points just fall together, and you will be able to classify them based on their distance into speaker, leader, and intel. And of course, this star that is given to you, that's the data that we want to classify. So also you can see on this graph on the left, there is a star given. So we want to find out where this star actually belongs, whether it belongs to speaker, leader, or intel. To do this, we have to use something called the Euclidean distance, which is the basis of similarity. And the formula is like this: Euclidean distance is equal to root, and you're taking f11 minus f12 whole square plus f21 minus f22 whole square. What that means, f11 is the value of feature 1 for data element d1. f12 is the value of feature 1. Feature can be anything like aptitude, communication, those are all features. Data element is one row of your data set. So you're basically finding the distance between one row of your data set and another row of your data set. So f12 is value of feature f1 for data element d2. f21 is the value of feature f2 for data element d1. And f22 is the value of feature f2 for data element d2. Now the next thing that you have to do is calculate the distance from Josh for all the data elements that you have. So using the formula that we just saw, you will be calculating the distance. So how this value comes over here is by subtracting. So what you're doing basically is subtracting 5. So you do 5 minus 2 whole square plus 4.5 minus 5 whole square, and then take a square root, and you will get 3.041, which is the distance between Josh and Karuna. And so on. You can calculate distance between Josh and Bhavna as 3.354, and so on. You'll continue. So you have all your distances now. Now the idea is you have to find out which class Josh belongs to, right? So one way of doing that is finding the nearest neighbor. That's what the algorithm is about, k nearest neighbor. So let's say that your value of k is just 1, then that means you're just finding one nearest neighbor to Josh, and that would be Gauri with 1.118 distance, right? So you'll just decide that because Gauri is the closest to Josh and she belongs to class Intel, so Josh would also belong to class Intel. You could increase the value of k and make it 2. If you do that, then you will be having two values over here. Two people, Gauri and Sushant, both are close to Josh. But he'll be confused about which class to give because Gauri is Intel, Sushant is leader. So we cannot tell which class it can belong to. But you can go with k equal to 3 and decide 3 points that are very close to Josh. And we can add Bobby to the list. And now if you look at your list, you can see that two of the three closest neighbors of Josh belong to the class Intel. So you can classify Josh as well as being in the Intel class. Now, the tricky part in a k-nearest algorithm is to choose the value of k. And the most common practice to do it is to set k equal to the square root of the number of training records. So if you have 15 records, set k to be root 15. Another alternative approach is to test out several k values on a variety of test data sets and then choose one that delivers the best performance. Okay, so you can try out different kinds of k values for your data set. So remember when I explained the classification model, I said you could update your parameters to make your model work better. So this is what it means. You can update the value of k and run your algorithm again and check if the accuracy has improved. And the last approach is to choose a larger value of k, but apply a weighted voting process in which the vote of close neighbors is considered more influential than the vote of distant neighbors. So you will choose a very large value of k compared to your data set, and then you will apply a weighted voting process. So instead of just picking the majority, you will pick the majority based on a weighted voting process. So nodes that are data points that are closer to your test data will have a higher opinion, their opinion will be considered more important than data points that are farther away. So what does the KNN algorithm look like? It looks like this. So initially we have the input, which is your training data and test data. And also you need to provide the value of K. The steps are as follows. You will do these steps for all the test data points. You will calculate the distance, which is usually by Euclidean distance. You will calculate distance of these test data points from all the training data points. And then you will find the closest k training data points from that data point, from the test data point. And if you see that if k is equal to 1, then you will assign the class label of the training data point to the test point because you don't have a lot of neighbors to compare to. You just have one closest neighbor. So you just have to give the label of that neighbor to your test data point. But if your k is greater than 1, then whichever class label is predominantly present, which means whichever class label has a majority among all the class labels of the neighbors, you should assign that to your training data. And that's all. That's what the algorithm looks like. Let's take a look at some of the advantages of KNN. So it is extremely simple, very easy to understand. You already saw that. It's also very effective in certain situations. For example, when you want to design a recommender systems to recommend videos, movies, or items on an e-commerce site, it's very effective for that. It's also very quick. You do not require a lot of time for the training phase. And let's take a look at some of the disadvantages. So actually, it is said that the KNN classification algorithm does not actually learn anything in the real sense, okay? Because the classification is done entirely on the basis of the training data and it just calculates the distance and that's how it creates a plan, sort of. Okay, so it does not exactly learn anything. So it's also known as a lazy learner because it does not learn much. And because there is no model trained, right? There is no model training happening actually. It's just calculation of distance and that's it. So classification is done completely on the basis of training data. And that's why the process can be very slow, because when you get a new data point, you have to find the distance of that one with all other data points. And also you have a very large amount of computational space which you require if you want to run this type of an algorithm, because you have to load the training data for classification. Now we're going to take a look at a small program that shows you how Bayesian classification works in practice. So here is the KNN classifier implemented. And to do the implementation, we have to first import certain libraries. So we are going to be using the pandas library for reading our CSV file. We will be using the train test split module of our sklearn model selection to split our data into training and test. We can get the accuracy by importing the accuracy score function, and we can also apply our classifier by importing sklearn.neighbors. From there, we will be importing the k-neighbors classifier because that's what we want to apply. Next, we will open our CSV file, which is available at this link. Okay, you can use this link to get access to the file. And let's print out the first five rows of our CSV file, and they will look like this. So these are the first 5 rows. Okay, and so basically this data set is just about certain attributes. Their values are given. It's just an anonymous data set that does not specify what it is about. It just shows 7 attributes with different values, and you have to give the class. So class can be either 1 or 0 based on these attributes. So next, we will define which of these columns are actually your predictors, the columns that are going to do the prediction. So we know that all columns from attribute 1 to 7, they are predictors. So that's why we have mentioned the index 0 to 7 in the ilog function of pandas. And let's talk about the target. So the target is going to be this class variable. So the class column is your target. So that's why the index is specified, which is 7. Next, we are going to split our data set into training and test. So we will use the train test split function, where we will pass the predictors and the target. We will pass the test size. So I want 30% of the data to be test data and rest 70% to be training data. So that will be passed here. And the random state indicates how randomly you want your training and test data to be selected. And here you have 4 things that you have taken. You have predictors train, predictors test, you have target train, and target test, because this function is going to return to you these things. So the predictors train and target train are what you will use to train your model. And then predictors test and target test will be used later on for prediction and finding the accuracy. So if you remember, this is the same kind of data set that we used for the naive Bayes classifier. So we will be able to compare both. And now I'm creating an object called NN for the k-neighbors classifier. And here you will specify the value of k. So I want the value of my k to be 3. And then I'm going to try to train the model using the predictors train and the target train data, which is given here. So I'll just use the .fit function. Once the model is ready, I can perform my predictions by using the predictors test and target test. And I can calculate the accuracy by just using the .score function, and it gives me an accuracy of 0.875. You could be able to increase this accuracy by changing the value of k. So you can play with certain values of k and find out if the accuracy improves or not. So that's how you can perform these kinds of, that's how you can actually perform your KNN algorithm. And now let's go ahead and take a look at some of the applications of this algorithm. So one of the most important areas in machine learning where this algorithm is widely adopted is, as we saw, recommender systems. And another area is where you have to do searching of documents or contents that are similar to a given document or concept content. So it's like softwares that do plagiarism check or information retrieval. So for such softwares as well, KNN is very helpful. So I hope you understood this, and I'll be back with the next video. So I'll see you there, and thank you for watching.